Now, 6 fears is still very low for when it comes to fears. So it's just kind of like it's pretty impressive. And so after she's done, everybody, not everybody can see her fears, but the leaders can, and they're kind of laughing at her because her final fear was her intimacy with Four because they're getting closer, and they were just kind of laughing. They didn't know anything was really going on, but they kind of figured that she has a crush on him, whatever, and she's afraid of that crush. Um, when it's over, they inject her with what's supposed to be a tracking serum that they just invented for keeping track of all the Dauntless. So the next couple days go by, and initiation happens, and she becomes a Dauntless for real. And the very next day, she wakes up, and everybody's just kind of like zombie-ish, and they're moving in unison, putting their clothes on, and getting out into the hall and marching away. And she realizes that something's wrong, so she decides to go along with it and pretend that it's happening to her too. So they all get on the train as a unit, and they get to Abnegation Central, and the Dauntless are just killing Abnegation left and right. There's something wrong with them. They're under a simulation, but it doesn't work on her because she's Divergent, and she knows that Four is too. So she goes to find him, and she finds him, and he is not under the spell, but she can't tell yet. Peter, no, not Peter, Eric goes up to them and kind of confronts them, and doesn't know that they're awake, and he finds out because he um, because Four kind of lets it out. They start running, they run, but they get captured, and they're taken to Janine, who is the head of Erudite, because Erudite is teamed up with the Dauntless leaders and is sponsoring this attack. They created the simulation. She is in charge of it. She is trying to kill all of the Abnegation, is using Dauntless to do it. She knows that the simulation doesn't work on the Divergent. She knows about Divergence, and she created a special serum for Divergent people. She gives it to Four, whose real name is Tobias, as I told you. And what the simulation does is a different one. For Divergent people, it reverses their senses. It makes them think that friends are enemies and enemies are friends. So he immediately tries to kill Beatrice, Triss, thinking that she is a Dauntless soldier. They put him in the simulation room so that way he can monitor it, because now he's basically on their side. But Triss was shot in the arm while trying to escape, so Janine sees her as useless and decides to just let her be killed. So they knock her out and take her to a room, and she wakes up in a tank that's filling up with water. This is not a simulation. This is real. She's gonna die. She's gonna drown. And right before she dies, the tank cracks and breaks open, and there standing in front of her is her mom with a gun, and there's dead Dauntless. And she's just kind of freaking out. She finds out in a little while that her mom was a transfer from Dauntless. So she knows how to work a gun. She knows how to do all this stuff. She actually has tattoos. So they run, they fight, and they get close to a safe house where her dad, her brother, and a bunch of Abnegation are. And right before they get there, they come across a bunch of Dauntless soldiers, and her mom has a choice. And she decides to die trying to save her daughter, and she succeeds. But she does die, and then Will comes after Triss. He is under the simulation, so Triss has two options: kill him and get to the safe house, or die and let her mother's death be in vain. So she kills Will. She feels really bad about it, because at this point, Christina and Will have gotten really close and started dating. So she's just jeopardized a seriously important friendship to her. So she gets to the safe house, and Triss, her dad, and her brother go to Dauntless headquarters to free everybody. Um, when they get there, they have to kill a lot of Dauntless guards to get there, and they get to this glass building above Dauntless headquarters, and they kill everybody but one guy, and he winks and walks away, and she realizes that he must be Divergent too, and he's not under. She goes up to the simulation room, kills a bunch of people. Her dad actually dies trying to keep her safe, and she gets to the room. She sees Tobias, and he starts fighting her, and she's fighting him, but the only solution at the moment is to kill him because he's under a simulation. She decides that that's not going to work. In one of her fear simulations, she was made to shoot her family, and the solution was she just killed herself instead. So she decided that this was probably the best option. She dropped her gun, she stopped fighting, and she was just going to let what happened happen. And it worked because he realized who she was when he heard her voice, and they have this kind of reunion. They stop the simulation. She takes the hard drive. They escape out of there, get to Amity headquarters, and everything is still in ruin. Most of the abnegation are dead. They get there and they're just like, her parents have died. One of her good friends is dead, and she's just kind of in shock. She knows nothing is ever going to be the same again. So, what? That's really where the book ends. They find the Amity sector. They get there and get with the rest of the survivors. Nothing much else happens until the next book. It leaves you at kind of a cliffhanger, you know. But her brother Tobias and all of the abnegation that were with them are safe at Amity headquarters. That's where the book ends. So I hope you guys read it. If you weren't looking for spoilers, I don't know why you've been watching this long, but whatever. It's really up to you. It's an amazing book. It was a Good Choice Award favorite book for Goodreads or whatever. It's really good. I'm hooked on the series. The next book is Insurgent. I'll give you a review on that once I've finished it. But yeah, it's a really good book. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. Good night, good morning, good afternoon. Doesn't matter, because wherever you are,
it's all good. What can I do to get the weekdays behind me? Watsky remind me, thank you kindly.
Monday in the nutsack, wedgie Wednesday butt crack. I'm coming hard for Friday, and if you're not, get the f back. Kick Monday in the nutsack, wedgie Wednesday butt crack. I'm coming hard for Friday.